cold out here and I feel lonely. Oh no, the time can move so slowly. And in the distance I hear voices. Are they real or are they in my head? I'm lovesick. You got me lovesick. And I'm lovesick. You got me lovesick. And now I feel alive. Feel alive. Feel alive. Feel alive. And now I feel alive. So many times they try to change me, and every time it drives me crazy. And all the good times we had saved me. Are they real or are they in my head? I'm lovesick. You got me lovesick. And I'm lovesick. You got me lovesick. And now I feel alive. Feel alive. Feel alive. Feel alive. And now I feel alive.
After taking a week's break to dry everything off from the rain-soaked race at Mugello, we crossed the Atlantic to North America, and for round 3 of the Indy Euro Series to the 2.4-kilometer-long Charlotte Motor Speedway for the first of 3 oval races this season. A track that featured on the IES calendar last season, and the first to make its return for Season 2. Last time we went to Concord, North Carolina, we saw some fierce battles all over the field that resulted in some major incidents and cautions that certainly gave some strategists a real headache over how to approach the rest of the race. And with the added element of stage points, it will surely make for an interesting development as the race progresses that will especially test the skills of the less experienced oval drivers on the grid. And as always, we're here on both the Indy Euro Series Twitch channel as well as on the Velocity Online Racing channel on YouTube. My name is Philip Ansell, and joining me back in the commentary booth again is Jaeden Inniss, who makes his return after being off and celebrating his birthday last time out. We're also, as always, joined by our talented producer Julien Altena, who will provide some awesome camera work throughout the stream. The track cams that you'll be seeing are by track cams, provided by trackcams22.com, so check them out if you're interested to learn some more. And with all that said, though, firstly, of course, Jaeden, welcome back to the commentary booth, and coming 1 year closer to retirement. I know that that number just keeps on creeping up and it's getting ever closer, but, you know, it's what happens with all of us. And I know that you and some other viewers might not be 100% up to speed at what happened last time out in Mugello, so I'll just quickly run you through some quick bits. It was a bit of a mixture, I'd say, in not just the conditions, but actually the results as well, with, of course, there being a sprint feature weekend. So we had a completely dry feature race that there was a bit of hint of rain in the air, something that certainly came back to bite some drivers in the sprint race later, with Jake Williams taking victory as he normally does in that one, with Luke Smith not being that far behind, only 3 seconds separating them as the flag fell at the end. But Wojciech Dvorak picked up another podium in P3, and Ben Ford picking up some very good points on debut as well in P4, with Filip Kovala actually getting not only his best result of the season, but also Domehead Racing, who are currently leading the team's championship at the moment. Something that the team boss, Hayden Gullis, was very happy of after the race, as you can see on screen right now. Just got a little bit of a gap down to the Cuda Motorsport Blue entry, but Thomas Eng are very close behind them, as well as the Velocity Online Racing team as well. But then it was a complete 180 in the sprint race, because it was pouring it down there, you could say, and it only got worse and worse as the race progressed, with basically whoever was in the lead of the race did not want to stay there, or rather did not stay there for long, as it was basically a case of who could survive until the end. But it was our current championship leader, Franek Sikorsky, who took victory there, extending his championship lead just ever so slightly. But as it was in Portimao, it was Thomas Wright right behind him in P2, with Luke Smith picking up yet another podium. And Ben Ford keeping it Mr. Consistent, P4 in 2 races. He will definitely be gutted, though, to miss out on a race win that he had to, unfortunately, miss out on due to boxing early. And Timo van Haften equaling what his teammate did as well, with picking up another P5 for the Domehead Racing team. But that's how racing goes. And as we currently look on of the drivers approaching their 4-lap qualifying session, how about you run us through the bits and bobs that the drivers have to contend with this evening, Jaeden?
Sure. So first off, we'll do the weather. For the time being, it's rather decent conditions, 25 degrees, mostly cloudy. Nothing too out of the regular. Definitely not the rain that we had last time around, as you said. For the format, we have the oval format, obviously, which has the 4-lap quali, as you said, with a 120-lap race, which is around an hour and 20 minutes at the most. At the end of lap 60, there will be those stage points that you talked about. That will be valued at half of the race points. So just a little something to make a little bit more creativity in the strategy, and incentivizing a little bit more overtakes in the earlier stages of the race, which we love to see. The race for the fuel tank, at the most, it's going to be around 30%. So obviously, I don't believe that people will be able to stretch it for the 3 laps, but maybe they can. Who knows? We'll see. The race times are expected to be around the high to mid 24-second range. And yeah, I mean, besides that, I think it'll be a very consistent race to see here in terms of hopefully the chaos won't be too crazy. And yeah, that's all we got. What do you believe for the predictions? What predictions you got for today?
It's a tough question, because I mean, with the the laps we're seeing at the moment, it's not like your typical road course where it can vary seconds between the front and the back of the field. Currently, from P1 all the way down to Kostek, who will certainly be on probably a way quicker lap time at the moment, it's 5/10 between everyone. And realistically, I think Isaac Fairweather did not have the best of lap times either. So, I mean, it's 4/10 between the entire pack. So, I mean, it is very, very tight. And I think basically anyone who can perfect the strategy is going to be in for a good chance of winning the race. And I mean, the best way to get good strategy is to have good race experience. And I mean, 2 of the ones demonstrating it at the moment, being oval experts themselves, is the WowTiv racing drivers, currently 1 and 2, Indy Kirkenbauer and Micah Mixer. But I would also not discount, the likes of the VOR drivers, Rodin Eiftink currently running 3rd. So, but I mean, just based on his experience from the top level of oval racing, I would say definitely Indy Kirkenbauer is my shot for tonight. We were discussing a little bit of your predictions before, but how about you make everyone else enlightened on who you think is going to take victory tonight?
Well, my strategy usually does not change that much. I still think that Jake just has the overall amount of experience to prove to us that he's usually going to be the one at the front, or at least barring any chaos in front. I think he'll have definitely a shot at winning. But yeah, obviously with the ovals as we had last season, it's very random. Like even with the pace that the more experienced guys have, I mean, it could end up very much flipped by even a couple laps in. So if it's anything like last season, it could truly be anyone this time around.
Yeah, I mean that's the beauty of having a mixed championship of this sense as well. I mean, we've got a bit of everything. We have the Formula One types of sprint feature weekends that may suit some of the more aggressive drivers, making their way through the field, overtaking people left, right, and center. But then you also have to contend with the fact that a third of the races are going to be on oval, and they are some really, really good point scoring races as well, because you have 2 drop rounds in this championship. I mean, obviously this is the first of the 3 oval races. Next one will be the Marconi Setup Shop Indy 250 in I believe it's going to be 2 weeks time. So not only will there be good championship points up for grabs, but there will also be an added bonus to that. So some wonderful prizes added by one of our partners in this championship. So head over to Marconi Setup Shop if you want to grab yourself some very nice setups. I actually help make them as well. So there's a little bit of a plug for myself. But apart from that, I mean, as we ride on board with Milan Vogelsang, I mean, that's another driver that could most certainly be at the front of the pack. He's currently 3 seconds down, but he will certainly be improving on that one for the Ardent Motorsport team. Another team that is, a more predominant IndyCar team that should be closer up towards the front of the pack. He did do very well last time here in season 1, as he goes 10th currently with his, I believe that's his 2nd lap only. But enough with that, as the end of qualifying approaches us, and it looks like it's going to be Micah Mixer who takes his first pole position in the Indy Euro Series ahead of his teammate Indy Kirkenbauer.
Yeah, I mean, even in practice too, it seemed to be fairly tight. So I don't imagine there'll be a ton of discrepancy between the fastest and the slowest. I think it'll be truly anyone's race to get. And I think everybody did their homework this time round. Obviously, we'll see what it equates to in the race regarding strategy. But with those stage points, it certainly throws something into the mix for the drivers to worry about.
Yeah, because I mean, it's something you don't want to miss out on. Like as you said earlier, it's half of the full points that you get for your finishing position. And I mean, this man right here has already picked up some points by himself, getting pole position. So, but I'm certain that you want to try and make up as much as possible. As we have a great mixture of drivers coming from different types of racing as well, with some being more towards the oval side, and as shown on screen, the two that are the most experienced, I think, on the entire grid have taken first and second. Micah Mixer ahead of Indy Kirkenbauer will line up on row 1 with Roden Aftink and Jake Williams on row 2, with Timo Gertz and Aman Lal on row 3. Luke Smith and Anthony Heitzmar will be lining up on row 4, with Kostek Solove and Milan Vogelsang on row 5, with Pim van Gastel and Thomas Wright on row 6, and Franek Sikorsky, our championship leader, a little bit further down the field than he would have wanted, but still for his first oval race, not too bad, with Kay Boutzman alongside him. Merlin Rubers, who was quickest in practice yesterday, will only line up in 15th alongside our debutant this evening, Kevin Miller, for the Thomas Eng Racing team. Another entry there, with his teammate being right behind him in 17th. Wojciech Dvorak and Harry Ward lines up on row 9, with Filip Kovala on row 10 alongside Ewan Langley. Ben Ford and Jacob Burke will be on row 11, with Tibor Gilagi and Marcel Vogt on row 12. Chloe Lord and Isaac Fairweather will line up on row 13, with Ben Sieber and Hayden Gullis on row 14, and Kieran Hendricks and Mai Krzyznik will be lining up on row 15. Kieran Hendricks obviously having to serve one of his 2 quali bans that he had obtained after his qualifying incident on round 1. As we see the current championship standings in front of us. I mean, Sikorsky, Wright have been the 2, bright stars in this second season of IES. And I mean, Williams did have a less than, optimal round 1 at Portimao. He did not have the greatest sprint race either. He was actually facing upside down as we headed into turn 1. So he will be looking to try and, improve on that. I'm pretty sure of. But as we look on the team's championship as well, it's Domad Racing. Bit of a surprise leading the championship ahead of Kuda Motorsport Blue and Thomas Eng right on their heels with Velocity Online Racing not too far back. And the IES Purple team in 5th position. But with all of that said, the safety car has its lights off and peels into the pit. So now it's all in Micah Mixer's hands. His teammate lines up alongside him. Round 3 of IES is about to get running for the second time here at Charlotte, and it's a good launch from Mixer, not so good from his teammate. He's going to lose out a little bit into turn 1. It's Rodin Aftink who has claimed up into second at the moment, as we have a little bit of a decent going on, but it's very, very tight, obviously. Now it's just a matter of who can get through this first part. Jake Williams looking aggressive on the inside into 3, and he's taken the lead ahead of the 2 Wouter Racing drivers. As very, very close between, but Aftink does not want to stay back whatsoever. He's going on the offensive straight away, wanting to control the pack.
Yeah, I mean, I was just having a look at the field, and yeah, no incidents so far. Obviously, it's just the second lap, but yeah, everybody got off pretty well. Mixer had a pretty decent start, but yeah, Jake takes the lead now.
Yeah, as you can see, Aftink's so close in the back. It's one of the shorter track. Well, shorter. It's not going to be the shortest oval that we have on this season. I think that's going to be Phoenix later on. Of course, Indianapolis being the most famous one out there, and it certainly has its charms and its added difficulties as well. These short ovals, because it's a bit of a you got to use your brake pedal sometimes. Not something that you have to do on the bigger ones like Indianapolis as much. So there's probably a little bit more strategy to it as well, especially for the tyre wear. As we now look on board with Kay Boutsman, who has not really gotten going so far in this championship. She certainly wants to improve on her current P14, but it's a very, very long race, as we're already on lap 4 so far, and the fight for the lead is as fierce as ever, with Aftink now looking to have gotten the lead ahead of Jake Williams as they head into 1.
I think you nailed every single pronunciation on that row start. That was impressive. I didn't know you were capable of that.
We're learning as the season goes by, I think. I mean, round 1 is always the most tricky one, as we look on board with Micah Mixer now, who's dropped down a little bit from his pole position, but and the gap has increased ever so slightly between the top 3 and the charging pack of Timo Gertz, who has dropped back ever so slightly as they almost run 3 wide now heading into turn 3, and it's going to be Kirkenbauer up into the lead again, but Aftink has not let him go whatsoever. You have to be careful now not to race each other too hard, because obviously there is this strategy element that's going to be ever so important, as Jake Williams is looking to cut back in front of Kirkenbauer, has just about done it now as we head onto the back straight.
Yeah, I'm looking at the strategy for the race going from start to finish. I think around 3.5 pit stops are needed, so obviously you're going to need to stop 4 times, but that's not barring out how the tires fall off. Obviously, with these guys pushing at the start, the wear is going to increase just a little bit more than usual. So I am curious to see how far they can take it out this time, because I remember with the last oval we did that I believe Jaeden was one of the people who took the tires extremely long. So we'll see if he'll repeat that strategy again today.
Yeah, no, for his sake, he looks to have dropped back a little bit though, Jaeden, this race. So, but we have the with, you know, the short oval that we're on currently, I mean, a caution most certainly will be playing a big factor in this race, and we have the pass-bys as well, so it's just a matter of keeping the car in one piece as long as possible, I think. So let's see if he can make some magic of that, as I think we have our first retirement in Marcel Vogt. And as I said that, we have a caution, and that's Kirkenbauer, who's lost out a lot, I think. I wonder if he's kept the car going, though.
Stuck in the pit lane as well. Someone there just spun out.
There's actually a black flag for Jacob Burke and Mike Krzyznik. There's actually been 2 meatballs as well. It's for Jake Williams and Indy Kirkenbauer. Ewan Langley has also picked up one, and that is, in fact, Indy Kirkenbauer in the pit lane. So we'll have a look on the replay in a little while. Actually, we'll have a look at it right now, actually, and see what happened between the race leaders. And yeah, that's a big crash between the two of them. See if we can get another angle on it, and as we ride on board with Kirkenbauer, it's Williams on the outside. He's hugging it so ever close, and I think, yeah, it just came together.
That rebound off the wall seemed to bounce him all of it towards the inside after the turn, so something to look at for sure.
Yeah, no, that's what's ever, because now we'll look on board with Jake Williams. I mean, he's running basically as close to the wall as possible, so I think that's just maybe a bit of a racing incident between the two of them. Kirkenbauer, I think that he thought that he had a bit more room on the outside than what he might have had, and you know, Williams going off the wall ever so slightly, and yeah, no, that's how quickly it can go and how quickly a race can turn on its head. And I mean, for a driver like Jake Williams, that's 2 races in a row he's had, or not in a row, but actually it is 2 races in a row he's gone airborne.
I think that one incident caused 5 meatballs, I think. So, yeah, obviously not off to the best start that we've seen, but it is an oval, so you know things like this are meant to happen. But yeah, I mean, on the bright side, my boy Ben Sieber gained 13 places, so I'm happy about that.
A little bit of favoritism going on there between the Motorsport UK Mazda boys. With that one, but you know, at the moment the field is shaking itself up a little bit, a surprise, except for, well, it's actually quite interesting to see everyone in the top 14 currently, except for Mike and Mixer, obviously that has dropped down 2 positions, have gained a position. Could be due to the fact that obviously everyone behind them has gone into the pits. Might have something to do with that, but obviously the biggest gainer so far is the driver you shouted out just a little while ago, Ben Sieber, but another driver that's impressed on the start so far, Chloe Lord, 13 positions up as well for her. So the M-Plower drivers looking strong so far, with Boutsman now in 10th, and Aftink has decided to go into the pits. Let's have a look at what happened with Jacob Burke, who also was one of the drivers that had a meatball flag, and I think he got collected as a result, yeah, into the side of Heitzman. He got to have a real whack into the pit lane wall. Has actually picked up a black flag for that as well, and it's a real shame how the iRacing system works sometimes, because realistically he didn't really have much to do here, as just see Heitzman there trying to get out the way and into the side of Burke, and into the pits he goes. So it might be something the stewards will look at as well if it was reported. We greatly appreciate if the drivers do, because we want to keep the racing as fair as possible. But the caution is still out though. So it is Aftink from Timo Gertz, a driver that certainly knows when to pick his chances on an oval. Of course, those who remember Season 1 at Indianapolis last time out, when we had a photo finish almost with Jake Williams flying into the stands, and Timo Gertz making sure that I did not have a voice after that. Yeah, no, he will certainly be a driver to look out for if he can keep it clean out there.
That was a race ending of all time. Like, it's just a biblical event at the very end of the race.
Yeah, no, I don't understand how, like, it was absolute cinema, I will have to say, and it certainly made my day, especially seeing as, you know, in season one, we weren't that used to commentating on ovals whatsoever. I think we had 2 ovals. We had one obviously in Charlotte, and then we had Indianapolis. And, as a guy that normally drives tracks that have more than 2 corners, it was certainly an awakening, I'd say. And I'll have to say, just ever so slightly, my attitude towards oval races has improved.
Oh yeah, for me as well. I mean, I'm not sure if I'll ever race on them, just because I love myself a good left right chicane type stuff. But yeah, ovals definitely have their place. I think obviously in the past I didn't look upon them that well, just because I was like, well, you just keep on turning left. But now that I've seen and commentated, races, I've watched a bit of IndyCar and realized how much strategy is put behind it. Yeah, it's certainly a very interesting way of doing things for motorsport.
Oh, for sure. As we see a couple of drivers being let go. And speaking of letting go, Roden Eftink has let go of the brake pedal and has got a good launch as the race gets underway here on lap 14. As, there's a bit of a gap, as I said, now down to Timo Gertz. 5/6 now. So I wonder if Gertz has got the wrong engine map on, actually, because he's right on under pressure now from Micah Mixer, as Aman Lal has made move up into 4th position. So he's certainly making use of that experience. If we see a driver now entering the pits, that's Filip Kovala, who has a black flag. And another caution has just been called out. Oh. And that was, I think, one of the drivers I was just talking about. That was Aman Lal and Tibor Jalagi into the pits.
Yikes. That was at 5 seconds after the first green flag.
I think we made it basically half a lap. And I mean, I wonder if Kovala's going to be able to serve that penalty. Because let's just have a look first at what happened on track. That is Jalagi, and I think that's Hendricks who's gone upside down. Yeah, it is Kieran Hendricks. I thought it was Aman Lal. Sorry. That was not, in fact. And he's actually gone into him a second time into the pits.
I wonder if Kieran was trying to avoid other traffic coming from the other side, and then obviously he kind of put himself in a position where he couldn't really go anywhere, because if he stayed out there he might have gotten taken out by someone else. So
let's see what happened.
Damage you do, damage you don't.
So just going into the side of Jalagi, that dirty air and the cold tyres not helping him whatsoever. And honestly, with a bit of hindsight, he did not have, I think, 2 front tyres as well. So, but yeah, no. Cautions breed cautions, or I think that's somewhat of how the saying goes, as the only retirement, unfortunately, so far is, well, unfortunately for his sake, not for the race. But I've just said too much. Unfortunately for Jacob Burke, it looks like he has retired. That's what I wanted to say.
Oh,
do not take anything else out of context. Oh, damn it. I've already butchered it.
Oh, man.
English is not my first language. That's my only excuse.
I mean, English isn't my first language, and I still mess it up all the time, so...
Yeah, exactly. But, this... we were talking about, the strategy of the race, and, I mean, 2 cautions in the span of 17 laps. We knew that the fuel tank was going to last about, 30-odd laps. How much do you think this is going to affect the long-term, strategy of the guys obviously now staying out, not boxing like certain other drivers were doing?
Yeah, I mean, I really can't... It's kind of hard to say whether they have the advantage, because obviously, they're on 17-lap-old tires, and that's, the first... From first to, I believe, 9th place is all decided to just stay out. So, I mean, it'll be interesting to see how the guys behind them approach it. Honestly, I thought they would have pit. I was so confident that they would have pit shortly after the second one, but I guess they realized that now. They kind of dug their own grave, perhaps, with the fact that they didn't pit on the first one, because they would have lost a lot if they pit now. So I think they might be just trying to ride it out and hope for the best moving forward into the next pit stop.
Yeah, because, I mean, as quickly as this caution came out, we see a couple of drivers still having black flags. Chloe Lord, Mike Krzyznik, and Filip Kovala. I think Kovala, for himself, it was extremely unfortunate with that safety car, because if it would have just come out, 10 seconds later, I believe he would have been able to serve his black flag. But seeing as it was under caution, technically, again, he wasn't able to do so. So he's going to have to serve that under another green flag situation, which certainly is not what the Domehead Racing team would have wanted, with Hayden Gullis running around that same position as well. So we've actually been told as well that it's Kovala's penalty is actually an end-of-line penalty, so that wouldn't be too bad for him. It could be way worse if he actually had a stop-go penalty, or even a drive-through is massive around here, considering the lap times are only 24 seconds. So, but with all that said, I believe we're getting closer to the restart of the race, with the safety car lights actually being off now. So the second time, let's hope and pray that it's going to go way smoother this time, with Aftink looking to get just as good of a restart as it did last time. See if Timo Götz can stay on the back of him as well, wanting to score some good points for the IS Purple team. But off he goes, Aftink. He's got a good launch, a couple tenths now separating him and the rest of the pack, and Mixer is going to look to make a move past Götz into turn one, and I think Alban Lal is looking to make that 2 positions lost for Götz, and it is in fact that. So it's Aftink at the lead. He's got that 6/10 gap again, so now it's up to the guys behind to try and work together to try and catch that gap back up again, because the one thing you don't want to do is let the leader save fuel, because that's such a big factor here on these races, because obviously race leader, he may have the clear track, and we have another caution. We lasted 1 lap, everybody.
Oh man.
We'll have to look at what happened. Aftink is actually losing a lot of track position at the moment. There's actually just a bit of desync, so don't have to worry about the race leader. I will have to look at what happened again, but there's 2 meatballs, one for Mike Ziznik and one for Kian Hendricks. It would not surprise me if it was them 2 that were involved in said incident. So we will unfortunately not get an eye on what happened. So we'll just have to, I think explains it. The frame we got says enough. I believe the meatballs situation are as expected. I think Ziznik has actually picked up a black flag as well. So he will certainly be out of the race. Unless
you said you watched Tuned, right? Yeah.
McLaren Tuned.
Yeah. What was it that Professor M said at the end of every episode? It's happened again.
Oh, and it's happened again. That may be hopefully it's not going to be a recurring theme, but yeah, no, it has in fact happened again. It's not a complete black flag for Kuzisnik. It is a normal black flag in that sense, so it's not a disqualification in that sense. Whenever I think of black flags, I think of disqualifications, but it's not. So good thing for him and for the rest of the race, because his teammate obviously sending good get better soon messages to Jaeden as well, who cannot attend tonight's race due to him being in the hospital. So it's nothing serious, I'm told, but it's enough for him not to race this evening. So he'll certainly be cheering on his teammate as best as possible, but at the moment it's not looking too good for the Slovensky. Let me just look at it correctly so I don't mispronounce it like I do normally. Slovensky F1 Pokal team.
Good stuff.
You have to make sure that you pronounce it correctly, because otherwise I'll get a reel going through by drivers in question.
I think he's still Wolfer is saying his last name like that. You gotta say Jaeden. Not Jaeden.
Jaeden. No, it's all I'm saying is, unless you are from that same nation, I'm going to mispronounce it or add a bit of Swinglish to it. But yeah, I mean, as we saw earlier with the big collision between Jake Williams and Kirkenbauer, both of them have actually ended up on the lead lap now. Kirkenbauer running P20 and Jake Williams running a little bit further down in 24th at the moment, but that's the duality, I'd say, of these oval races in particular, especially now that we have a lot of pass rounds as well. But like I said, if you keep your car running, you're going to be at a shot of a good position at the end of the race. It's just making sure that nothing too bad happens that you end up in the catch fence the second time.
I'm dying over here. Jaeden responded immediately. He's watching the stream.
Well, that's good. And did you know, guys, as well, that if you have a blue crown in front of your name, you can subscribe on Twitch for free? That would help us a lot. Enough sellouts, right? For those that know, that was a bit of a quote I had a couple of years ago. But the safety car lights are off anyway for the third time, and hopefully the last time for a while, as Roden Aftink has a new friend behind him that's going to turn into an enemy very quickly. I think Micah Mixer wanting to return to the front of the pack as we get restarted on lap 24 out of 120. There is a maximum of 1 hour 20, of course, so if there is a lot of cautions, we will be staying here for 1 hour 20 max. But Micah Mixer, has just as Gertz dropped back ever so slightly on the restart, but not as far as Gertz did before. But it is Aftink at the front of the field, and it's a Chevy 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and under pressure straight away is Mixer by Aman Lal, who looks to make a move round the outside into turn 3.
Yeah, I'm honestly a little bit confused with the strategy, because obviously we're guessing it's going to be 30 laps at the most for the tank.
Oh, and I think, that's K Bouncement in the wall. There's a lot of caution. I believe this must be another caution. Yeah, we have actually had another caution. as we see 5-6 cars spinning around on the main straight, and oh my god, it's happened again.
Professor
It's happened again. The driver we saw that was so far down the field earlier, Hayden Gullis, looks to have gotten ever so closer to that main pack, as you know, just see the aftermath of all that chaos on the main straight.
It's literally turning into a McLaren Tune episode at this point.
Yeah. Oh no! Don't tell me it's the teammates. I see Thomas Eng ahead of Thomas Eng. No, the incident has already happened in front, and this is Ewan Langley we're riding on board with. Does he make it through? He somehow does. Wow.
Skin his teeth as well.
Proper cars action there. Almost as I think there's almost 5 drivers picking up a meatball, and another driver doing so, Season 1 champion Jake Williams and championship leader Sikorsky. Oh my god, that's I think a Thomas Eng car goes straight over the top of K Bouncement, as we'll look to see what happened here. So Bouncement down the inside of Vogelsang into 3. Looks like a car. Oh, there's contact, but oh my god, that's Thomas Ryder Sikorsky. So first and second in the championship come together out of turn 4, as we again see the Thomas Eng car go flying straight over the top of Bouncement. The cars that you could think are teammates come together, and that's a big crash, and it's caught out. I think, yeah, like I said, 5 drivers have picked up meatball flags and will be using their fast repairs as quickly as possible.
Surely the front, surely the people who are on 27 lap tires are going to pit now, right? There's no way that we don't pit now.
Oh yeah, no, that was just shows how quickly it goes. Just the slightest moment of hesitation, that's fair. We're also going sideways on the main straight. So now it's going to be a case of who has a fast repair left and who doesn't.
And they haven't decided to pit either. There's still, I believe, 6 drivers that still haven't pit, and unless we're wrong with the if the tank should only go 30 laps, maybe a little bit more, but I mean, I imagine it might be a case where the tires can go further than the tank can at this point, because they've had 3 opportunities to pit and they haven't. So
yeah, I mean, obviously now with the amount of caution laps we've done, they will be able to save quite a bit of fuel, I'm certain of. So I think we're going to be certainly towards, the upper edges of, close to 40 laps almost at this stage, and that might be right on the cusp of being able only to make 2 pit stops in this race. But with the amount of cautions and stuff, you don't want to run the risk either of having to pit under green, because that could put you 1 or 2 laps down almost if you pit at the very wrong opportunity. And I mean, you look at the likes of what was I going to say? Luke Smith is currently the driver highest up at the moment that has made a pit stop. He still, though, has 17 laps on this stint. And will obviously have way fresher tyres than the guys at the front. And has put himself in a good position, but at the same time, that he almost certainly has to make 3 pit stops this race.
Yep.
Unless, we have yet another safety car, which, I mean, considering the fact that we've only made like 2 laps without someone ending up half dead in the wall, it's anyone's guess at this stage, I think.
Yeah, if it's 3.5 stops, they might be able to shave off the half, but I don't know if they'll be able to shave off any more than that. So if there is more cautions out, then sure. But on top of that too, it's just like having tires worn this badly, obviously, as we know, would make you more susceptible to being in one of these incidents just because of the tire wear. I mean, the last incident was just hitting in the wall, just being hit into the wall with understeer. Like, it's not like there's a huge clattering. It's usually one of the 2 drivers in the incident having understeer. So I think it's definitely a very ballsy strategy, in my opinion, to stay out this long.
Yeah, because like you said, I mean, you're putting half the faith in the other drivers around you not to take that into consideration, that you might be on slightly worse, have a slightly worse car in that sense. But at the same time, the other drivers around you want to make the most out of it. As we see, Isaac Fairweather still out without pitting. We saw him drive around with a broken rear wing at Portimao. I do not think he will want to go green flag racing without a rear wing here, because then we'll certainly have our 4th caution of the night very, very quickly. And hopefully he doesn't collect anyone if he decides to do so. I'm praying that he ends up going into the pits. Thing is, I don't think he's going to be allowed to, because the lights are already off on the safety car, and it's going to be Roden Aftink who will restart us once again. This time he does have his teammate right behind him, so expect them to go pretty close together, and we'll certainly want to try and work together as much as possible to pull away from the ever-present Micah Mixer. And pulling away is Aftink as we get underway for lap 29 out of 120 here in the Indy Euro Series round 3.
Yeah, I mean, when it comes to having no rear wing, there's only one way to find out, so we'll see if he can keep it together.
He's losing a lot of time. I just hope that he can stay out of people's way and not cause another caution, as we look on Isaac Fairweather, and off he goes. Oh god, oh no, he has collected someone. And that's exactly what I was saying, that I hoped and prayed wasn't going to happen, and we have another caution.
He free-fired it. I feel so bad. I can't even lie. Like, we're sure he didn't have a rear wing, right? Like, we're confident of that.
I mean, especially with how the car ended up in the wall. And who has he taken with him? Championship leader Sikorsky.
No.
The driver that had an incident. Oh my god, that's Krzyznik.
Oh.
Just getting away with it. So it's gone from it's gone from bad to terrible for Sikorsky, because not only did he use his fast repair last time, he can't use another one now, obviously, because, that's already been used. So as we look at Fairweather trying to get that Cuda Motorsport car back into the pits, he does have a fast repair remaining, I believe. But that could have a huge championship implications.
Yeah, I mean, that's so unfortunate that it had to be the leader of the championship getting in 2 back-to-back incidents like that. But I mean, man, hey, sometimes you just don't have it. Sometimes it's just not your day.
And that's something that the drivers are aware of, though. It's in the rule book that says, driving the car in an unsafe condition will result in a penalty. So I think that's pretty slam dunk from a steward's perspective. It's a shame to see because, it's ended up taking out another driver and who was basically just an innocent bystander in this, as we look at on board with Aman Lal just before the caution got called out, I think. So it's still going to be VOR 1-2, and I just had to double check that because Micah Mixer has decided to come into the pits.
I promise you, I am not trying to boost this man, but Ben Sieber happens to have the most overtakes. He's now up 16 places.
Yeah, he's making the most of it. I mean, keep, like, as I said before, you keep the car out of trouble and you're going to be rewarded for it. And he certainly is the most rewarded driver at the moment. He's a player as well because he plays the game. But, and I mean, I'm still looking at the data as well. And we have a couple drivers still with black flags that will need to be served at some point during the race. One of them being Marcel Vogt, who's running in his best position so far, and one of them taking them at the moment, I think, is Filip Kovala. It's actually not taking his penalty. He's going into the pits to get some fuel, as we see Harry Ward now go into the pits. And is he... Whoa! Oh, and he's actually stopped on pit entry, so... And he's towed back to the pits, so... What has happened here with Harry Ward? That is interesting.
So he obviously oversped, and then...
Yeah, I wonder if that is just retirement from him, and hope not, obviously, because we are dropping drivers by the minute, I'd have to say. With and obviously on screen, if you want to look at the broadcast schedule for the VOR channel, this is what's up next. Obviously, IES returns in 1 week's time for round 4 at Road America, and for the fourth portion brings a 4-3 start, as it's Rodin Aftink who gets us underway for the 4th time tonight, right ahead of his teammate Aman Lal, who's going to be under pressure from the ardent driver of Milan Vogelsang, and Luke Smith has somehow made his way up into 4th position. But there is a gap guys, though.
Still a couple of guys with those old tires. Not as many as before, obviously, but I'm very surprised that the tires have managed to last so long. Obviously, we've been under...
It's happened again.
I was about to say under caution.
I don't know what to say. And that is Timo Gertz. So it's not going to be a fairy tale this time out for Timo Gertz, as he's found his way into the barrier. Let's see what happened with him this time. So it's onto the back straight. There's a slower driver in front. Oh, that's Marcel Vogt! That is not how you enter the pit lane, and Timo Gertz has gone tumble dryer simulator into the wall.
My goodness.
That was very, very, very dangerous from Marcel Vogt, and that is the result of it. Obviously wanting to come into the pits as early as possible, but not looking a second time for whoever was close behind. And that's how quickly it goes. I mean, it goes airborne, and
wow.
Thank God this is a simulator, not a real... I wonder if Gertz collected someone as well when he came back.
I think he might have just won at the very, very... just before he hit the wall, I think.
As we ride on board, not really checking his mirrors a second time, Vogt, and claiming Gertz as a result. This, though, surely means that the front... actually, Vogelsang and Eftink have decided to come into the pits. But Aman Lal has decided not
He's staying out? Ain't no way.
He wants to try and make this as, exciting as possible for us, I think. Eftink gets out right ahead of Vogelsang. Obviously, they are restricted by a fuel tank.
I think they saved. I think they saved. He must have saved the pit stop by now if he's 36 laps out and hasn't pitted. So obviously, we've been under caution, as I was going to say before the caution came out. But He might. I mean, honestly, at this point, like, how far does it go for him? Like, does he go 40 laps? Does he just hope for another caution? Like, if there's no cautions, I feel like he's in big trouble if that just doesn't work out for him.
Firstly, as we ride on board with Kirkenbauer, I have realised it's not Valtiv, it's Valtiv. It's not Wow, as I said before. So we did have one mispronunciation so far. But no, as you were saying with the strategy, I mean, if we continue in the manner we have done so far, I mean, for sure he's going to be able to stretch that close to 40 laps. And that's, you know, then it'll be, yeah, I mean, I'm trying to think of how it's going to be towards the end of the race, because
that's a 3-stop strategy. If like 40, 40, 40, it's right, just like that. But I mean,
yeah. And obviously we don't have the data. Unfortunately, we'd love to have a Ted Kravitz that was on top of one of these cars and giving us all the live information to spoil to everyone else who might be looking, watching the race in the chat. But yeah, as you can see at the moment, there is a mixture of, fast repairs being used. Kirkenbauer has somehow found his way back up into 6th position after his incident earlier with Jake Williams.
What a helmet.
Who himself is slowly but surely being unlapped 1 lap at a time, as Timo Gertz now exits the pits as well. So, but he will be 3 laps down. But as things have transpired so far, we'll probably see a few other drivers end up in the catch fence as well. I hope not. I pray not.
Hope not.
But as things have gone so far, you never know. You're never 2 corners away. In fact, he is, as it's going to be Aman Lal who gets us underway ever so shortly. Him and Pim van Gastel, the 2 drivers yet to pit so far. Everyone else, except for Ben Sieber as well. I forgot to check on the man slightly slower down the field. But as we go, green flag racing again for the 5th time this evening. And hopefully, I wouldn't say anything else because I've jinxed it every time. But it's going to be Lal who has the gap again on Luke Smith, with Pim van Gastel ever so close behind him.
Come on. Please.
Oh, I had to just clear my throat real quick as the Zebra is making a move on Gilagi. He's up into 9th position so far, or if it's Gilagi attacking him, we will never know. It's actually, in fact, Ben Sieber that made a move on the Hungarian as round the outside into 1 and 2 we go.
And he's pretty much made all his spots back up as well. He's back into P5 after being flattered at the beginning. So good stuff for him.
We look off board with Kay Boutsman, who's fighting with Kostek Solove. It's been green flag for 1 lap anyway, so I'm very happy so far as we see one of the Team Thomas Eng cars right behind. I believe that is Merlin Vruvers, who is a little... It's actually, yeah, that is Ben Ford, in fact. So the Thomas Eng car that's not actually representing Thomas Eng in this championship. A bit weird, I have to say, but let's see how they decide to do it. Obviously, can only be 3 drivers maximum, Kevin Miller being the latest addition to the team running. Let me just double check again so I don't say it correctly. The team running 3rd in the team's championship at the moment. As we now ride off board, you see these beautiful angles obviously being provided by trackcams22.com. So search that up if you want to find some more information on how you can get them for yourself, as there was a bit of squiggle from, I believe that is Miller, on the low line into turn 1, getting on the apron ever so slightly as right on board with Gilagi and Micah Mixer who was at the front of the pack, made his pit stop and has dropped back a little bit now as we look on his teammate that's right on the back of this lead pack now.
My data tells me that Aman Lal's gone 43 laps on those tires. I cannot believe how that's even possible. I mean, that's just insanity. Same with Ben and obviously Pim van Gastel. They all have went 43 laps on these tires. So They don't seem to be losing a ton of pace. Obviously, we're on board with Lal at the moment. He is losing a little bit, but it doesn't seem to be enough as there's chaos behind.
I think that's Langley that's dropped a lot of position, so we might see another caution there. This could be beneficial for Lal, and that is Langley actually picking up a black flag. So, and there's a car in the wall, I believe, as well. That is Pim van Gastel that's dropping a lot of positions. So one of the drivers that had not hit, I hope, and that's actually not Pim van Gastel, thankfully. He is running, still running on the track, so that is good. Good news for him and good news for the race itself. But another driver that doesn't seem to be having so much luck is Ewan Langley, who's dropped it onto the main straight and runs straight across the infield. I believe he has not been collected, thankfully, and it seems to have not been enough to cause another caution. But this is not what the likes of Lal, the likes of Van Gastel, and I believe your man, Ben Sieber, he's still running 12th, actually, so he hasn't lost that many positions. But there are a few drivers that might be checking that fuel gauge as we run 3 wide into 3. Oh, they've just managed it so far. Vogelsang down the inside, but he is approaching a driver that was running. Oh, he's actually tapped the wall on the exit there. So they have to be careful, though. We saw what happened earlier with Sikorsky hitting the wall hard and bouncing right back onto the track. As we see Solovey now going around the outside, and there is that caution. Has this been the perfect time, though, for the likes of Lal? We'll have to wait and see.
They've gone 50 laps. I mean, at this point, we got to pack it up. Like, there's just no way we're going more than 50 laps.
Yep. So let's see. As there's a bit of technical difficulties, but could have been at a worse time. So I'll just have a quick look at see. I believe that is. I'll actually bring that back to you guys in just a moment, but. I can confirm that Aman Lal has currently not pitted so far. Whether or not the pit lane is closed, I'm not too sure about that. Have to wait and see. But it is Indy Kirkenbauer that is leading at the moment from Luke Smith. And the aforementioned Lal with Van Gastel still running in 4th. But they will most certainly be looking to get into the pits as soon as possible because, as you said, we're approaching that 50 lap, a 50 lap threshold, and actually into the pits goes the entire top 3. And it is Micah Mixer that decides to stay out with Tibor Julagi, who takes over 2nd place. We are obviously approaching that the stage points as well that will be taken at the end of lap 60. So there's a lot of activity in the pit so far, but there's surprisingly, though, a lot of drivers opting to stay out. Maybe having that, obviously, the stage points in mind as I'm running on board, as the stream is back up, so I can actually tell you what's happening on screen as well. So as I was saying, we watch the drivers exiting the pits as quickly as possible without losing traction and overtaking people. It is Micah Mixer at the front of the pack with Anthony Heitzma in 2nd and Kostek Solovey running in 3rd place. Just going to try and get this up and running as well. It has completely died, but we'll be looking at what we have on screen as well. Yeah, no, Luke Smith has actually jumped Kirkenbauer in the pits as well, which I just noticed. So there we go, as we see a couple of drivers now being let back another lap on the leaders, as the only driver currently running with a black flag as well is Wojciech Dvorak. He's currently 16th position, and we'll want to try and get rid of that one, I think, as soon as possible. But cannot serve it under yellow flag situations unless it's a end-of-line penalty, which it might actually be, which you obtain by entering a closed pit lane, which I was honestly expecting the likes of Van Gastel, Lal, and Ben Sieber to almost be on the fringes of getting, seeing as they stayed out so long. But everyone now having made a pit stop. It's going to be all fair and square as we approach the 60-lap mark.
Almost halfway, almost.
Just going to double check as well. We do, like I said earlier, unless we get to the 120 laps in 36 minutes, it's going to be whenever the timer runs out. I'm actually surprised we've been running for over 40 minutes at this stage. It's gone quite quickly, I must say.
Well, I mean, with the amount of cautions we've had, I mean, things... I've been looking at the lap counter, I'm like, there's no way we're getting another 70 laps of this in 30 minutes. If I had to guess, we'll probably get to, like, I don't know, like lap 100. But yeah, no, this race has certainly been a joy for us to commentate. Maybe not a joy for them to drive, but see how it goes from here now.
Yeah, as we go, green flag racing again on lap 50, and it's Micah Mixer that has us leading onto said lap with Anthony Heitzma again dropping back ever so slightly. It is quite difficult though to get onto the race leader on those restarts because you've got that little bit of extra reaction time. You don't want to spin the tyres too much as Kate Boutsma now runs around the outside of Ben Sieber, and into P2 goes Solovey now past Heitzma. But does Heitzma want to attack him straight away, or do they want to, work together now, try and get as close as possible to the back of Micah Mixer? Because yet again, it's only 9 more laps until those stage points are being taken. And I believe the answer is no. Heitzma down the inside into 3 as they run side by side through 4 as well. Solovey making the wide line work the best this time round. I may not be an oval expert myself, but I did read that iRacing is putting a lot of effort into their oval racing with the different how should I say this, temperature and surface, how it would work in real life. I'm no expert myself, so that's why having to deal with my half functioning explanation. But that's why we can see drivers using different lines and still being slightly quicker, because obviously the optimal line is going to be slightly more gripped up and it's going to be slightly hotter though. And for those that do racing, doesn't matter if it's oval or if it's road racing, a hot track is a slow track. As we see Heitzman now down the inside again of Solovey, so they're going to be fighting it out as much as possible. As we see a driver exiting the pit lane just below them. But does Heitzman want to attack Mixer though? We are yet again getting ever so closer to the that 61st lap of the race. It's been green flag for quite a bit, so I'm very happy so far.
Yeah, does data tell you that like the front 4 haven't pit yet? Because if that's the case, then that is quite something to see. I don't know if that's actually correct, but at this point, if it is correct, they'll have to go to 60 laps if that's accurate, just to get those stage points and then dive into the pits hopefully after that.
Yeah, no, I can say that that's not correct. Everyone has made a pit stop this race. But it would certainly make things interesting to say the least. I know that now they're probably running closer to 20 laps or whatever. So once the second rows of pit stops are done, we'll get a way clearer view of the race as Heitzma is going to look to take the lead into turn 1 as we go on to lap 57. And we'll try and hold this position, I'm sure, of as much as possible, because as I said, stage points 3 laps away now. But as you see on your screen right now, Mixer straight into the lead again, making the most out of that slipstream. Heitzma has to be careful though not to use too much of that apron, because as we've seen, it does spit you out and it does hurt you very much as a result.
Yeah, I got nothing for the data now. The data's just a little bit wonky at the moment, so we'll have to hopefully wait until it fixes itself after these pit stops come on.
As we see Thomas Wright and Naman Lal, Wright obviously using the most out of his fast repair, but having to have that in consideration as he approaches the rest of the race, running 6th at the moment and running way ahead of his championship rival who has retired from the race. So 3 retirements so far, being Jacob Burke, Kieran Hendricks, Sikorsky, actually 4 retirements, unfortunately, and Harry Ward. So we've still got a strong 26-car lineup, and into the lead, importantly, for himself, Solovey leads us on lap 60, but now it's going to be a straight fight as Kirkenbauer goes down the inside. He wants to be right behind his teammate as they approach the latter stages of the race, but can Solovey defend across the line? That is the question as they run on the high line through 3 and 4.
They're real close though.
Yeah, no, I think it was visualized there as Kirkenbauer now dives it down the inside of his teammate. The difference in lines and, you know, the high line actually being more beneficial for some drivers around the edges of the top 10, but it is Solovey that's going to make the most out of the stage points, so that will be half a race win already in his favor. So that means that he could potentially be a little bit more cautious as the race progresses. That's easier said than done. Everyone here on the grid wants to win, and for Solovey, who isn't, you know, at the front of the championship so far, he's currently running 8th at the moment. He has 74 points to claw back to his countryman, who will not be scoring any points and will be certainly using his drop round this evening. You know, it is it's certainly playing into his hands at the moment.
The grip seems to be just at the very edge for Kirkenbauer as he takes the lead now. Obviously, he seems to be just a little bit unstable at just the exit of the corners, but he might be just going.
Oh, there's a driver that's gone sideways on the main straight. Have they kept it up? No, they haven't.
Oh no, it's happened again.
It has happened again. It's Kay Boutsman, and I don't want to say it. I think that is teammates coming together. I'm not too sure if that was Chloe Lord or not. I'll have a look and see as I interrupted you, because I saw a driver that went straight across the infield.
I thought it was
that is bouncing off that wall, and I can't really tell because I'm not too used to the liveries, I'm afraid. And it was the teammates.
No, it is.
The M-Plower teammates come together, and that's that white line. And that's how quickly it can go. One of the Cuda Motorsport cars getting out the way, and you know, that is absolutely disastrous for M-Plower.
I can only imagine what that voice chat's going to be like at the moment.
Saw so many incidents like this last time out, and it looks so innocent. The coloured lines, but it can have such a impact on you. And unfortunately for the M-Plower team, it's resulted in... I don't know if both of them have a fast repair remaining, but it certainly spiced things up for the race so far, as it's Ben Ford who's going to be leading us onto the 67th lap, with Merlin Rubers right behind him, and Isaac Fairweather, after his incident with Sikorsky, is going to be running 3rd.
Oh, I mean, Merlin finally getting to show off that practice pace, hopefully. He finally is in the front row, so Isaac being up here is just insane after all that's gone on. He's gained 15 spots.
But yeah, you know, I've got some bad news for anyone for the Cuda Motorsport team. Fairweather has a black flag. So if that's for incident limits, it might actually be, because they have a very strict limit. We saw a lot of drivers being caught out at Mugello for just that.
I think he made contact at the very back of his car with Chloe, I think, if I'm not mistaken.
It would be one heck of a net code.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, it is actually. Yeah, that's it. But he will be lucky, though, to get away with that. Because, obviously, there was a lot... Oh, just to see how quickly it goes. I think Obviously, he drives under the New Zealand flag, but that British internet certainly is helping him this time. Got away with that one because he's a driver that does not have a fast repair remaining. And I think it was still a better result than having a black flag and another meatball for Fairweather. So yeah, I mean, he will have to do some more work as, you know, Ben Siever's currently running. He's going to be running in net third position with Kirkenbauer in sixth. His teammate has dropped the position down into 8th position. So it's basically the top 4 have not pitted so far. They are still on about 20 laps worth of tyres, as the clock has actually decided to count down. So we have about 21 minutes left of the session. Let me just make sure. We've got 25 minutes left of the session, in fact. So we're not going to get the full 120 laps unless we are, for some reason, completely green all the way to the end, as the lights on the safety car are out. And we're going to be going racing yet again. Hopefully we can have another nice green cautionless period as we had previously. But it is going to be Ben Ford who is going to lead us on to lap 68. Merlin Rubers is right behind him though. So he decides to go quite late, does Ford. And but he does still have a quite nice of a gap. It's very, very close though across the line. A little bit further down the field, and it's Heitzmar and Aftink going side by side into turn 1 and 2, and it's the Kuda Motorsport car right behind them. Oh, but Rubens does not want to stay back any longer. He's taken over the race lead and wants to have some of those points for leading a lap as well. So far the best position for the Kuda Motorsport team, as just a matter of time whether or not if he can hold on to that position as we ride on board with Fairweather. And Solveig is going to make it round the outside of Ford, who wants to get further up the field. And Solveig actually has pitted, so he's going to be on way fresher tyres than the drivers at the front of the field.
Oh, I think something's happened. I think something may have happened, yep.
I think you may be correct. That is Ben Sieber with a meatball flag.
Oh.
As Fairweather serves his black flag. So the driver that was looking so strong and finally hoping to get a good result. And yeah, he's got 3 wheels into the pit lane.
Please don't bring up the caution. Please no.
Seems like that is so very close for Sieber as he enters the pit. So as we ride on board with him, with the IES purple driver has been moved up, and that's Fairweather. That's Kirkenbauer, I think. Is Kirkenbauer a mixer? I don't know which one of them. He's actually not got any steering whatsoever, Sieber there. So I can't really blame him. That's Fairweather going up onto the track. He was on the pit entry, has moved up onto the track, and I believe that's the reason why the Vautiv car had to react in the way he did. No caution though, which is good for the race, but it is absolutely disastrous to Sieber, who's dropped 2 laps now on the race leaders.
That's so unfortunate. Just when I thought he had it too.
Yeah, but anything can happen so far. We've got 20 minutes left of the race as Solveig now goes back to the front of the pack. Front 3, all on fresher tyres. It is Kirkenbauer. No, sorry, it's Ford and Ruvers running 4th or 5th at the moment, yet to make a pit stop. So I believe that was Micah Mixer that was involved with Sieber a little earlier, as Solveig and Kirkenbauer getting very, very close, obviously, on that main street. Not a lot of room as well to you know, negotiate. It's not the widest of tracks, this Charlotte Motor Speedway. So that's another reason why we've seen so many incidents happen, I'm afraid to say. But that's the duality of these short ovals, I'll have to say.
Yeah, finally the data seems to have evened itself out. Obviously, my data still has Marcel Boda's 67 laps, so that can't be right. But yeah, the strategy now, at least, barring Merlin Rubers and Ben Ford, everyone's around that 9 laps of tires, obviously putting on that caution. So it's only them two who stick out at the moment. Just looking for probably trying to get the better position at the time being, and seeing how things play out. It's only a matter of time. Only a matter of time.
You know what? The clock is on 17 minutes as we watch this fight for the lead. I'm looking at the likes of, well, basically everyone that has around 10 laps on their stint. If we have another caution, they might not have to make another pit stop in this race, because obviously we're no longer down to, laps. I mean, it would be great if we got as close as possible to the 120, but if we get another caution or two, it's going to be a fuel crisis, I think, at the end. It's going to be who has the fuel, who has to make that extra pit stop, that splash and dash. So I would not discount any driver that can keep their car in one piece at the moment, as we see this big gaggle of cars fighting for 6th place. That is Luke Smith, the driver that is currently on 12 laps, so he's doing it slightly worse than his teammate, even though his teammate actually has way less, he has way less fuel, but he also has way less tyres. But running so far quite good is the Kuda Motorsport blue team. We see the battle for the lead, as well as Kirkenbauer now goes back to the front of the pack, and they're working very well, these front three, but I thought I saw a puff of smoke there, but thankfully it's just a bit of advertisement. But it's so very difficult to pull away on an oval, as you can't really bump draft the same way as you can in perhaps a NASCAR or a sports car, even at Daytona.
Yeah, I mean, the strategy, at least as you were saying, it seems like everybody can go to the end. So it should...
As we have another caution, so that is exactly what I was saying. I would not... if the likes of... And that is Mike Ziznik, who was looking so good after having a slightly worse start to the race. I wonder if that's all by himself. Looks very alone. It does the... Oh, yeah! No!
Oh, yeah.
That's how quickly it goes.
And he collected.
I'm afraid to say. He did collect it. Thankfully, there wasn't too many drivers around him. And yeah, that is the treacherous white paint that we saw. I wonder if it was actually the paint or if it was... No, it's actually just on traction. So here at Charlotte, there is that bump on the exit of 4. And I wonder if he just had a little bit too much weight jacker on that car. Because obviously, it's a little bit different than normal road courses. On the ovals, the drivers have weight jackers. They are effectively, tools that they can use to help the car rotate more or less, depending on if there are traffic or not. And as we see now, basically everyone at the front of the field going into the pits. And yeah, 16 minutes to go. Now it's going to be all about who has the fuel at the end. But is there going to be someone that dares to stay out, though? Track position is so very important, though, with only 15 minutes to go.
Yeah, I mean, surely everybody just plays it safe. I mean, if everybody's coming in, then everybody's on an even playing field. It'll basically just be a shootout straight to the end at this point. So,
it's so very close. A pit exit between the top 3. Looks like Kirkenbauer's got it, but who has got it between Solovey and Lal? That is the question, though. Looks like Solovey has got it this time. So it's a race on pit road here at Charlotte.
Everything. A race on literally anything possible. With the amount of cautions you're going to have, I mean, you're going to have to try and take whatever you could get at any time. So that is very close stuff.
As we look at Kirkenbauer benefiting maybe a little bit from that pit stall at the very front. And yeah, Solovey was just ahead of Lal as they reached the pit exit line, but how close was that? And I doubt we've seen the last of them 3 fighting it out for the 4 positions.
Yep. Now they have nothing but the finish in front of them, so it'll be nothing but straight overtakes. Hopefully, no cautions. Please, no cautions at this point. Good.
That was actually Marcel Vogt, I think, going into the pits, so filling up to the end to make sure that he finishes the race. You were saying they would not have anything in front of them. I'm seeing a certain three drivers, in fact, right in front of them. That's something that's going to play a big factor in this race. That is Ben Sieber, Jake Williams, and Isaac Fairweather, all right in front of the race leaders. And as I say that, they've been let go. Perfect. So as quickly as I was trying to make something interesting, to notice something interesting, they've been let go by race control. So they'll be joining the back of the pack. And making the most out of it. So we have an update on the casualties or retirements, whatever you want to call them. It was in fact enough to take out both the M Plower drivers. Unfortunately, Kevin Miller has unfortunately also, I believe, retired from the race. So it's not going to be a fairy tale debut for him. But that's the added benefit of having 2 drop rounds as well. That it's not going to be the end of the world if you have one slightly worse race, as the caution lights are still on the safety car. So we have about 15 minutes left of this round 3 of IES. And as we were saying, it's basically going to be a straight shootout. There is the drivers that have gambled staying out. Jake Williams, he's only 1 lap down now from the front pack. He has 19 laps on his stint. It's whether or not, though, it's going to be enough for him to stay out and to make it across the line without having to make a green flag pit stop.
I think he just dived into the pits as well. He might have thrown the towel in, basically.
You know what? I sometimes hate my timing. It's absolutely horrible. Just as I was saying something else has happened, but yeah, no, like you said, he's probably realized that it's not going to be enough as the lights on the safety car has closed off, and we will be getting underway ever so shortly. It is Kirkenbauer, the driver that the timing is saying got pole position. He did not get in pole position, to my memory. It was his teammate Micah Mixer, who is let me just check. Yeah, he's running 12th at the moment, so that's how quickly it can go around these ovals. But as I said, it's going to be a straight sprint to the end now with only less than 15 minutes to go. As we hope and pray that there's not going to be a caution before the end, but right. It's looking very unlikely, I'll have to say. So at least make it spectacular if you have to. So as the safety car peels into the pit lane and we look to get going, and Kirkenbauer goes very early, trying to catch out Solove, who's going to be under pressure straight away from Lal, as he has a little bit of a gap, though, down to his teammate, Avetink, in 4th position as we run through 1 and 2. And there's actually a even bigger gap now down to the Cuda Motorsport drivers running in 5th and 6th. So they'll be looking to catch up straight back to this lead pack, who's going to be fighting it out until the end.
Yeah, I mean, in terms of just from front to back, it seems that the grid has kind of reversed itself again in the case where the people at the front are back at the front, and the people who are at the back are right back where they were. Besides Jake, obviously Jake is slowly starting to make his way up the pack now as he's trying to see if he can make a last charge out of the back. But see if that causes any cautions. Hopefully not. I mean, this is a really good race at the front, so we need to see this.
Yeah, the top 4 have about a 9/10 gap now, so if they play this smartly, they might be able to just squeeze out enough to pull a gap so they can fight at the end of the race, because obviously the fight at the top ends of the top 10 is still very close. As you know, we see the battle between Lal and Kirkenbauer now is going to intensify as they cross the line. It's Kirkenbauer again at the front of the pack, as both Solove and Avetink, I think, are just settling into this, letting them fight for the moment, trying to seize their opportunity and make their move as quickly as possible, because obviously you want to run at the front of the pack, but if there is a caution at the wrong time, you do not want to be a Marcus Ericsson or a Pato Award at Indianapolis for a couple years ago. and being on the wrong side of a slipstream that helps a rival get past you right at the flag.
Yep. And they've been side by side the entire time, so at least for them, they seem to have understood how to stay side by side for more than a lap. Hopefully the rest of the field could follow suit.
Yeah, I mean, two experienced drivers in the IndyCar scene, probably even more so than on an oval side compared to some of the drivers that might just do the normal road courses, even in officials. I mean, I'm one of them. So even though I try and do my Indy 500 once in a while, but it certainly is, the drivers that are the most experienced in this that, have such an advantage compared to, an average Joe like me in that sense, knowing when to fight, knowing what line to run to save the tires the most, I mean, fuel at this stage probably isn't such a big factor for the drivers at the front, but Kirkenbauer still has to run a little bit more rich, has to pull the biggest load compared to the drivers right behind them, because obviously we have no idea how much fuel these guys have. They might have underfueled ever so slightly just in case there is that other caution, so that they got the track position, because we just saw how close it was on pit exit, and it's just as close on track at the moment.
Yeah, and the pace is also very similar too, even from the middle of the field. They're all running relatively the same, around everyone's running basically a mid-24 from first all the way to 15th. It's all pretty much bang on in terms of pace. It's just a case of the slipstream battles and making sure that we keep distance,
Yeah, social distancing. I never thought that I'd bring up that term after COVID, but no, you're completely correct. I mean, giving each other enough space, I think, is going to be the main thing now as, we approach the last 10 minutes of this race. We might even get to the full 120 if things continue in this fashion. And I think, the likes of Jake Williams, who pitted earlier just to make sure he makes the flag, did the right choice there. He's somewhere in the middle of the field. He's currently running 18th position, as you see the fight for the lead continuing to go side by side, and there's actually side by side action right behind them as well. So this is certainly going to play into the front twos. As we see now, Lal try and get the move down the inside now, so forces Kirkenbauer to take the wide line through 1 and 2. We've seen the wide line still be somewhat, of a beneficial one to take, even though you might not have the same amount of initial grip as the driver on the inside that has the shorter run, but Kirkenbauer making the most out of it, steaming round the outside of Lal as we have 24 laps to go now of round 3 of IES.
Yeah, they're winding down extremely quick now that nothing has happened yet. But it's honestly amazing. It's great to see, racing at the front side by side, holding hands basically through every corner, no problem. I mean, it's not something that you see a hell of a lot in IES to begin with, but yeah, to see it in an oval, it's truly something to see.
Yeah, as we saw both Thomas Wright and Milan Vogelsang going side by side, we now look on the battle for third between Tink and Solovey, looking like we're closing ever so slightly to each other. They have to be careful now, though. The gap is 6/10 to the leaders. They don't want to lose this toe, because what that is going to do is going to bring the two Cuda Motorsport drivers ever closer to them. They as well have a little bit of a gap down to Ben Ford in 7th position, but he has Heitzma right behind him. So this is the thing that they have to consider now. When is the time to fight? The track condition is basically a little bit hotter than it was at the start of the race. The clouds have disappeared ever so slightly. The fog is gone. Now it's, a beautiful day here in North Carolina, and it's going to be one heck of a finish to this race. Gap now 9/10 to Kirkenbauer. I wonder what happened with Lal now. Is he starting to feel a little bit of that tire wear? He's going to be under pressure now from Solovey, and this could be, absolutely perfect for Kirkenbauer.
I don't know if maybe something to do with the strategy, maybe not enough fuel.
Oh, the caution has been called out with 20 laps to go.
It's happened one more time.
It has, in fact, happened one more time. I'm not seeing I don't know who it is, in fact. I'm not seeing any meatball flags. So hopefully that means that nobody has had a big incident, that it might just have been a spin. That is fair weather, in fact. So yeah, no, that was actually a big moment, in fact. So yeah, lost it, hit the wall. I wonder if that was just a bit of a CBA retirement. So yeah, he tried saving it, but then the car, you know, was trying to keep it as straight as possible, as we can see on the onboard. So yeah, did his best, but at the end, he actually tried parking it off track. Yeah, as we can see, that rear suspension is. He's actually trying to park. He has actually parked it with the civilian cars on the outside. So I take that back. Fairweather did his absolute best not to cause a caution there at the very end, going completely off the track. And is that Lal?
Oh, he faked it.
He faked it. Lal being very cheeky there, looking to try and bait out Solove and the drivers behind. Sieber and Vogt both with a meatball flags. We see a couple drivers actually going into the pit, so they did not have enough fuel. Could actually as well be just a bit of a tyre change as well. You know, with 7 minutes to go now, it is a risky strategy to go there, but you know, they're going to have 20-lap pressure tyres. Is the likes of Aftink, Roovers, and Ford, and Timo Gertz, who has got himself back on the lead lap after his incident earlier with Fairweather. So he's shaking off the tumble dryer, and he's going to be back fighting for positions now, as we see both Jake Williams and I believe that's Thibaut Julagi, who are both going to be back on, I believe, the lead lap as well. So now it's going to be 4 positions for them as well, as we have about 7 minutes to go. Race control, I know, will want us to finish under green flag conditions as much as possible, but if we have a caution on the final lap, I don't think there's much we can do about it. So hopefully we can have a nice and controlled finish to this race with only 4 minutes to go now.
Yeah, I mean, it's a little bit interesting now with those who went into the pits, because now obviously they have to just send it as hard as they can with that tire advantage. It is a major advantage, so they can push as hard as they'd like. But that prediction of there not being a caution at the end, I don't know. If there's people who are significantly faster than the others, usually leads to a caution, but hopefully they can navigate through it pretty well. I mean, the advantage should be quite noticeable for those guys. And the people who did pit obviously are more experienced, it seems like, in terms of passing slower paced cars. That's at least what I'm looking at here with the likes of F-Tink, Roovers, and Ford. They shouldn't have an issue making it through the pack, but they'll obviously have to be patient as well, as there's going to be battles between those with worn tires as well.
Yeah, no, you were saying that. Like, I think this is a big gamble. Like, I would have understood it completely if it was, 7, 8, maybe 10 minutes left of the race. We have 3.5 minutes of the race left to go. One caution here at the end could be detrimental to their race. But, at the same time, 20 laps is 20 laps. They're going to be steaming, I would assume, around the outside of a couple drivers. But it was a lot of, nice positions further up in the field, as the safety car will hopefully peel in for the last time this evening, as it's going to be Kirkenbauer who will lead us underway on to lap 104 out of 120. And he goes, as he did before, quite early. Lal has got onto the back of him somewhat, though, so he didn't fall behind as much as certain other drivers have done throughout the evening. But with only less than 3 minutes to go now of the race, let's see how much these drivers further down the field are going to be able to claw their way back, as we see now Lal challenging for the lead on the outside of Kirkenbauer into 3 and 4.
That may not be what they want to do. Obviously, with the little amount of time left, those guys who pitted are flying up the field.
Oh, caution's out again! That's Kovala into the pits. Oh, sorry, not into the pits, into the wall. I wonder if he has a fast repair left, though. I'm not too sure of it. He's going to try and get that Domehead racing car into the pits anyway. So This is exactly what I was talking about. It's going to be fireworks now at the end. 2 minutes to go. I know race control does not want it to finish under yellow, so it's going to be a very short portion. Yeah, there was contact between, like I said, a faster and a slower car. That is, I believe, Ruvers into the back of Kovala.
That's the insane prediction right there. I knew it was going to happen. Like, I mean, surely with that pace advantage, there's just going to be a huge difference in driving style and pace, and unfortunately, when those two things come together, it's usually not that great.
Yeah, and now all of a sudden we have we have a minute and a half, and I believe it's going to be a green-white checkered flag. So we're going to have 1 lap left, I believe, of this third round of IES. So it's going to be a straight shootout at the end between all of these drivers at the front. And like I said, that gamble, though, with the fresher tyres, you saw the increased grip Ruvers had. But at the end, it's a matter of making it clean, making sure that, the other drivers around you also are on the same wavelength. And that time, unfortunately, it wasn't between Kovala and Ruvers.
You want to flip a coin to see whether they finish this on green?
I believe it's going to be a green-white checkered, so safety car lights are off. So we're going to have, I believe, 1 or 2 laps, maximum 2 laps left of this race. I believe we're actually going to only have, it's going to be 1 lap shootout at the end.
Actually, I misworded that. I should have said, do you want to flip a coin to see if there will be a Jake Williams-esque finish on this?
You know what? I'm on it. With the amount of incidents we've seen this race, it would not be an IES oval race if not for an airborne crash as the clock ticks down to 0 seconds of the race. It should be, as I said, a green-white checkered, even though the timer is at 0. I'm hoping and praying it is. So it's going to be, like I said, who is going to bite first? Kirkenbauer will have the advantage, being the driver that is at the front of the pack. He gets to dictate when he's going to go. Lala has to get the restart of his life if he wants to stay close to him. The green flag is in the hands of the race director, and we go racing for the final lap here at Charlotte, and it's going to be fireworks all the way to the end now. He has a 3/10 gap now. Solveig on the right on the back of Lal as Heitzma and Mixer fight it out for position. He's going to get a good slipstream now, but he has to defend. That's Heitzma into the wall on the back straight. Mixer losing out positions as well. We're going to go green flag all to the end. It's Solveig on the inside of Lal, but it looks like it's going to be Kirkenbauer who takes his first victory in IES. And he's going to be a Mad Lal in second place, ahead of Solveig in third. Luke Smith ends up in fourth with... We'll wait and see as everything goes, as everything finishes out in the end. But, we didn't see a helicopter type of crash, but we did see a crash nonetheless at the end on the back straight. But it is going to be Kirkenbauer that takes the victory here and takes his first victory in IES as we look on board of Solveig, who, was so close to claiming his best position. Well, this is his best position of the championship so far. He's got the inside line, but again, Lal just had the momentum around the outside and does clinch second just ahead of the Maniti driver.
Well, with Heitzma in the wall, I wonder if on the replay we might see a Jake Williams finish, so I'm still holding on to it. It might be there.
Heitzma did end up finishing 14th in the end, so he made it just about. And with all this carnage, 2 drivers that we spoke about earlier on in the race, of course. Jake Williams ends up 11th after being 4 laps down. So, that is the contact between Mixer and Heitzma. Get another look on it as Mixer's on the outside and Heitzma just goes into him ever so slightly. And that's his teammate Vogelsang right behind him. Somehow does not get collected by it. I wonder if there's... he's just glued into the side of him there, Heitzma. So I think that's just a little bit of that netcode between America and Europe. I think was the biggest factor to ride on board with Vogelsang. So Mixer comes down ever so slightly, though, tries to pinch him to the inside. How Vogelsang didn't get collected there, I will never know. But, you know, it's paid off for him in the end. He gets another great position in at Charlotte, yet again, for him. But let's run through the final results then, or the unofficial results here for round 3 of IES. With it, and as previously said, it's Indy Kirkenbauer who takes his first victory here in IES, making the most out of his experiences at the top of oval racing, with Aman Lal taking a very solid second place. It's been a long time coming for him, and he's made the most out of it, with Kostek Solove getting his first podium of the season in third place, with Luke Smith making the most again out of the carnage in fourth position. Milan Vogelsang, who we didn't see so much about in the race, ends up in fifth position, ahead of Thomas Wright, who will gain a lot of points on his nearest championship rival, finishing in sixth position, with Pim van Gastel in seventh, ahead of Wojciech Dvorak and Ben Ford making it an 8-9. Thomas Eng, with Hayden Gullis all of a sudden. He gets the best dome head position in the race in 10th, ahead of Ewan Langley. Says he's 10th at the moment. He has a black flag, so that is going to be a bit of a time added on for him. So I think it's going to be Jake Williams in 10th. We'll say he's 11th. Merlin Ruvers did not work out the strategy for him in the end. Finishes 12th, ahead of Timo Gertz, Anthony Heitzmar, Rodin Aftink, Tibor Gilagi, Micah Mixer, Philip Kovala, Ben Sieber, and the retirements for this evening: Isaac Fairweather, Marcel Vogt, Mike Rizhishnik, Kevin Miller, Kay Boutsman, Chloe Lord, Harry Ward, Franek Sikorsky, Kieran Hendricks, and Jacob Burke. So then, man, what an interesting race, and what better way to sum that up than to drag in our third place finisher this evening, Kostek Solove. Driver we haven't spoken with this season so far, but I'm sure you're going to be absolutely delighted to pick up your first podium of the championship so far.
Yeah, I'm happy. I'm very happy with performance today, with the drive I had. It's going to be very, very positive on my points, and I think it's going to be a really important race for this season, considering how many top drivers, considering the standings crashed.
Yeah, no, as you said, I mean, a very important race, in fact. And another thing that will certainly help you a lot this race was that move earlier on in the race, getting ahead and leading the pack just as the stage points were taken. Talk us through that. Was that in your plan all along to, to go for the move and risk potentially, losing out later on in the race?
Yeah, I was going mega aggressive, honestly. I was setting up my pit cycle for the stage points, and the move itself was kind of pre-planned. I was working out to get to the top side. I think it was I don't remember who it was, but Mixe. I was like working out to go to the top lane. And try to make a move around there, and everything worked out. I was very happy when that stage points hit my account.
Yeah, no, as you said, very, very important for you. You were at the front of the pack the entire, basically, race as well, I think. And with the fact that Strobel did not race, Van Haften did not race, Jake Williams dropped points, you're going to be looking to gain a couple positions, I think, in the championship. So that certainly has helped you a lot. And I mean, I believe as well, if I'm not mistaken, the timing has failed us a little bit tonight. But you were one of the drivers that did not opt to go into the pits at with the second to last caution. How much did that affect you, seeing, some drivers around you opting to go for fresh tyres? Was that ever on your mind, or was, the thought of a potential second caution too great of a risk to not consider?
Well, that last pit stop basically was very, very important for me. I was thinking that it's either, you win or you lose. And I saw Indy not going in, and crucially, Eamon he didn't box either. So I noticed that like Eamon struggled a bit with like last 3 laps of that green flag run, and I was gaining on him every corner basically. So I decided to kind of respond to what he does. And if he stays out, I'm gonna stay out and try and maybe muscle it out on that outside, maybe move on a green flag on a restart. But well, I didn't have very good starts of the green in the last 2 starts. Although I tried to make it run to the end, my tires were absolutely cooked, and I kind of couldn't pull it up.
Yeah, but cooked you did. You got yourself a podium. Last thing, we do not have a break weekend. We actually had next week. We head over to Road America, another of our road circuits that I don't know. You might be a little bit more used to. I don't know if you are an oval driver or not. I should have checked that before. But what are your thoughts heading into the more normal road courses?
Well, I really know and I really like Road America, but I know that there's gonna be very hard race considering the close racing, maybe some illegal moves, some pushing of the track, stuff like that. These cars are kind of wide considering Road America if you want to go too wide in some places. So I think it's gonna be very hard. It's gonna be important to keep the tires in the window and try not to fight in general. Probably qualifying is gonna be also very important. I think P3 quali would be lovely, but I know that there are plenty of guys that I never saw in that IndyCar community here in this league, and I wasn't expecting that they're gonna be so quick. I have some surprises. Also, I was kind of not delivering the performance I wanted on 2 rounds before. So I hope I can go only from the bottom to the top at this point, considering my performance on road courses. So I'm looking forward into it.
Yeah, good to hear. Only time will tell. There's still a long way ahead until our Season 2 champion is crowned. So, Kostek, enjoy your podium tonight and get ready for some close racing in a week's time. So, celebrate that, and very big congratulations for your first podium of the season.
Yeah, thanks.
So, that was Kostek Solovey joining us. We'll be dragging in our second place finisher this evening, Aman Lal. You had a very happy race, or a team owner here in the chat with you picking up a second place this evening. Talk us through your race and how it unfolded for you, because it was certainly a spectacular one.
Yeah, the first half of the race was quite difficult with there's constant safety cars, and I chose not to pit with everyone else. And I got quite lucky when I did have to pit because I had like 5 liters left and the safety car came out. So that put me back on like a decent strategy. And then towards the end, it was quite difficult to overtake Indy. He was just holding the inside, and on the outside, I was just killing my tires. I think I was holding the outside for like 10, 15 laps. And like towards the end, my tires were gone, and the safety car probably saved me that result.
Yeah, no, as you said, I mean, we were, basically honestly at awe of how long you were able to stretch that first in. 47 laps. Our data projected that we'd only be able to do 34 full push laps. Obviously, like you said, those safety cars did help quite a bit. But, as you said as well, your battles with Kirkenbauer this entire race was certainly a spectacle to watch. How much, did that first stint, you think, help you to claim that second place at the very end?
I think it was like it helped not to get involved in a lot of the carnage behind. Just staying out in front. So if I did pit, I probably would have been caught up in something. So in terms of that, it helped. you get a good result in the end. But then I also got a bit lucky with that final safety car when I did pit.
No, you are correct with that one. I mean, staying out of trouble was what we also discussed quite a bit. I was gonna say something that I completely forgot about it. We asked Kostek just now as well, because we saw that your teammate Rodin decided to pit right at the end with that second to last caution. I'd assume you guys were talking a little bit between each other. If not, then I'm completely wrong. But was that ever on your mind to, join your teammate, try and, claw your way through the back? Because you said yourself, Kirkenbauer was a very tough opponent to best of today. He got the better of you. But was that last pit stop ever on your mind?
Well, I was P2, so probably not. But both mine and Rodin's tires, both of our tires were dead, and his were probably worse than mine because he was behind a lot more cars. So I think that's why he pitted. If that final safety car didn't come out, he could have made up quite a few places because I think he had 20 lap fresher tires. But it was just unfortunate with that last safety car.
Yeah. No, as you said, I mean, it's a gamble. You just had to stay out. It worked this time for you. I mean, obviously, track position held was a very important one in the end, of course, with that second to last caution. I was just checking as well. You are currently running fourth in the championship. You've had very consistent points haul in the last two races. Obviously, this one is going to help you quite a bit. But now as we head to Road America for yet another road course before we then head off to Indianapolis, what are your thoughts going back onto a more traditional circuit?
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it. I usually do quite well at Road America, so hoping to do the same again. And I think it's next week or week after. So yeah, looking forward to it.
Yeah, it's lovely to hear. Jaeden, do you have anything to add yourself?
Not quite. I mean, the race really just spoke everything I possibly could out of me. I mean, that was quite a hectic race, and obviously, you were on the front end of the pack, so you didn't have to possibly have to deal with that huge onslaught behind. But yeah, you played it well, and yeah, congratulations.
So
Yeah,
last thing before, sorry, go ahead.
I was going to say it was quite intentional to stay ahead as much as we could. That's why I stayed out as long as I did on that first thing.
Yeah, no, that is very well managed. I think that experience you have compared to some other drivers on the field certainly paid off. I was going to ask Kostek this as well, but I completely forgot to do so. But before we let you celebrate your first podium, is there anyone in particular you want to shout out or give an extra thanks to?
Yeah, thanks to Rodin. We're working quite well together. And I think my family are watching, so yeah, and thanks to you guys and Julien for putting on the broadcast as well.
That's awesome to hear. We that you guys appreciated it as well. So, but with that said, Aman, enjoy your second place this evening. There's probably going to be plenty more of you here in the interview booth if you continue this form. So enjoy that and get ready for Road America in 1 week's time.
Thank you. See you.
So then that was Aman Lal. So our last driver that will be dragging into the commentary booth this evening is, of course, our race winner, Indy Kirkenbauer. What a statement from the not so great last time out, obviously at Mugello, but putting on a statement performance here, taking P2 right behind your teammate in qualifying, and then running a pretty dominant race, especially on that last stint. Just talk us through your race from your perspective.
Oh yeah, I was able to take the lead at the beginning pretty easily once I got there, and then I was wrecked, and then I just was a few laps down, and I eventually got it back with those unlimited restarts and unlimited lucky dogs, sorry. And I was just able to, once I got on the lead lap, I was able to get through the field really easily and just go where the clean air is. Everybody would be washing up on corner exits, so you just get under them, and if they're not washing up on corner exits, they're way too slow on the entrance. So then I go high and just able to weave through the field, just decent, just able to weave through the field and get back up there. And then at the end, I was just kind of chilling for a few stints and saving some gas at times, and then I was on that last stint. I just knew I needed to be in the lead, and I was able to finally break away from P2 until that final couple of yellows came out. So I was disappointed that those yellows came out because I was over a second ahead, but still were able to win.
Yeah, no, like you said, I mean, completely forgot the incident you had earlier on in the race with Jake Williams, but you know, with the experience that you have, I think you might be one of the most experienced drivers, at least on the oval side of the IndyCar scene that we have on the grid. I mean, how important do you think that was for you to get your way so quickly up to the front of the pack again? Because I was honestly surprised to see you, always halfway through the race, already back on the lead lap and into the top 10.
Yeah, just most of the people were running the same lines each time, so it was pretty easy to predict where they were going to go, and I was just able to get around them. And yeah, it was just, I know I was just doing stuff to just keep getting up through the pack, and yeah, I just knew I wanted to be in that clean air, and I was able to get the clean air through the pack and just able to slide a lot less on exit. So at the end of the stints, I had better rear tires and just able to pull away like I did for the last stint to pull away from the lead. So yeah, it was a fun race though, which we would have had a little bit less cautions, but
Yeah, cautions bring cautions, but certainly something that might have, been a caution for certain people. That last pit stop, we saw some of the drivers closer to the front go into the pits and opt for fresh tires. Was that thought ever on your mind? I know we spoke to Solove and with a man just on that topic. They said no because of track position, but was that ever something on your mind as the race leader?
on that last restart, I knew that it would be a pretty not that long stint that I'd have to go, so I needed that track position. I knew that I could have held them off, and I would just have to give up too much track position. So at the end there, I just decided to stay out, and I pitted when I needed to pit, and yeah.
No, it worked out very well for you in the end. So just a couple more things. I mean, I know that Mugello might not have been your best ever race, but staying in America, heading to Wisconsin for the race at Road America, are you hoping that track is going to suit you a little bit more as we head back onto the road courses?
Yeah, I like that. I didn't like Mugello, so I'm a lot better at Road America, but I know just with the ovals, it's just the goal to win all of them, and able to start that out on a good footing.
Yeah, no, that is exactly what you have to do in that case. I mean, a good result this evening. I believe you're second in the stage points and first at the flag, so that is a good haul of points for you. Last thing, though, is there anything, anyone you want to shout out or give a big thanks to?
Yeah, just my go-kart sponsors, BG Emery Associates, Bayside Comfort Heating and Cooling, and make them on YouTube, and shout out to Votive Racing and everybody for running the league, and y'all for running the broadcast, and just everybody for putting this on.
Wonderful to hear, Indy, and of course, big congratulations to your first win in IES and the first win in the championship. So we'll be seeing you in 1 week time, hopefully, at Road America, and who knows, we might have to speak to you again, and as a race winner or even on the podium, but only time will tell. So enjoy your victory tonight, and yeah, exactly, like I said, I hope to speak to you sometime in the future again.
Yeah, thank you.
So that was our race winner, Indy Kirkenbauer, who will finish up today's stream. But before we say our goodbyes and take a lovely shower, because I'm absolutely drenched in sweat from all that action, what are your thoughts, and how would you summarize this race, Jaeden?
Well, I mean, what is there to say? The commentator's curse is just truly in full force, as per usual. It's something we could definitely point out. But yeah, I mean, we had a good understanding of what was going to go on. Obviously, that pace difference at the very end with the tires is going to cause an incident. We had a ton of incidents caused by just, understeer and colliding into other drivers because of that understeer. So it was very much a understandable race from our perspective. But yeah, it was. I would definitely say it was a race that I thought was a lot more cleaner than I thought it would have been. Even though, yes, there was a ton of incidents, I thought it would have been a lot worse. But yeah, I am disappointed we didn't get the Jake Williams finish, though. That was a bit rough.
I mean, I'll take that any day of the week over the fact, over 15 cautions. I mean, we had a bit of an incident-ridden middle stage of the race, but once that sort of fizzled out a little bit, we had some great green periods where we had some really good racing. And I mean, you saw especially at the end, especially the fights at the front of the pack. Drivers can race. It is a tricky track, especially with the net code and the internet differences, but I feel like most of the drivers certainly pulled out their best impressions of themselves and ended up getting a good result of it. As we said earlier, tune in 1 week's time for round 4 of IES as we head over to Wisconsin Road America for one of our first road course race on US soil. But with all that said, everyone's tired, everyone wants to go to bed, I need to take a shower, so it's been an absolute pleasure being one of your 2 commentators this evening, and a big thanks obviously to Julien for making all of this possible as well, bringing you guys the best possible shots throughout the stream. And of course, a big thanks to Jaeden who joined us in the commentary booth, and obviously more than anything else, thanks to everyone who tuned in for the race this evening. And as I said, take care, stay hydrated, and we'll see you guys in 1 week's time in Road America.